Yeah, I think that may be enough. I think that's enough, no? Yeah, I don't mind if you sit, honestly. What do you know? All right, thank you.
May I see here?
I'll sit right in the middle.
I
go
hear you.
ahead. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Rain, can you call the roll, please?
Yes, Trustee Lautner,
Here.
Trustee Zora,
Here.
Trustee Council,
Here.
Trustee Sheehan,
Here.
Trustee Stewart,
Here.
President DeCipio.
Here.
A quorum is present, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan. Moving on to employee recognition, Julia.
Check, check. Can you hear it okay? Sure. Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. Tonight is a very special evening because we have an opportunity to recognize the employees that work for us here in the village. We have a number of very dedicated employees. We have 41 full-time employees and over 80 part-time employees that are very dedicated and help provide all of the services that our residents have come to enjoy over the years. So each year, what the village does is we take time out to celebrate the milestone anniversaries of village employees. And this year, we have a number to celebrate. So I have the list of employees. I will call off each of the employees along with their service anniversaries. And when you hear your name, if you could just come up, and I have a certificate of appreciation for you and a gift from the village. Is everybody ready to go? Yeah? Okay, starting us off, we are very well represented by the fire department this evening. So starting us off, we have to celebrate Matt Dahl in the fire department, 5-year anniversary. Is Matt in the house? No? Well, we congratulate Matt for his anniversary. This next person I know is here. Protecting us all in this room, we have with us David Escamilla in the police department's 5-year anniversary. David. Thank you for your service. Next on our list, we have Mike Hughes in the fire department celebrating 5 years, 5-year anniversary. Is Mike here? Then we'll give him a round of applause. Next on our list, thanks, Chief. Next on our list is Josh Johnson in the fire department celebrating 5 years. Is Josh here? Thank you so much for your service. Really appreciate it. Congratulations. Next on our list, 15 years of service, Chris Bodler in the fire department. Thank you, Chris. Next on our list, Ron Podlasek, serving as our crossing guard for our village, 15 years. Ron. He had to leave? Okay, we are going to put Ron's gift aside, and we'll give it to him later. Next on our list is John Fagan in the fire department, celebrating 20 years. John Fagan, I know he couldn't make it. John, thank you. Yeah, I knew he couldn't make it. Next on our list, we have Linda Miller, police chaplain, 25 years. There you go. Thank you so much for your service. I will note that we have a couple of surprises that showed up at Village Hall today for Linda Miller, and they are those beautiful flowers right there in the corner. Linda, you've got some fans. Thank you for your service over the years. We really appreciate it. Next on our list, we're getting into the great numbers. I'm going to call them great. Jim Gruska in the fire department celebrating 30 years. Jim. Thank you so much. Thanks for everything that you do. And last on the list, we have one of our retirees who we celebrated just before this meeting took place, celebrating 30 years of service as well, Lee Kudia in the fire department. Lee. Thank you so much, Lee. Really appreciate it. Thanks to all of the employees that were celebrating their anniversaries this evening, and for all the employees that work and serve the village day in and day out. We really appreciate all that you do. Thank you, everyone. All set, Mr. President.
Thank you, Julia. Before we proceed, I was negligent. We have a trustee on the line that's going to be participating remotely. So I'd like to entertain a motion to allow that to happen. Trustee Lautner?
Mr. President, I move to allow Trustee Seidel to attend the meeting via telephone because she is unable to attend due to personal illness or disability.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner,
Yes.
Trustee Zora,
Yes.
Trustee Council,
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan,
Yes.
Trustee Stewart.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Trustee Lautner. And welcome, Trustee Seidel. Are you with us? We might have to do it again.
Well, the motion's there, so I'll just give her a call.
Okay, good. And again, congratulations to all the employees for the years of service to our wonderful village. And Linda Miller, Linda, you've been our chaplain now ever since I've been involved with the village. You do a remarkable job, and we're so blessed to have you for all these years, Linda. Thank you. Okay, next we have recognition of fire personnel Lee Kudia and Rick Ranowski on their prospective retirements. Firefighter Lee Kudia, dates of service 10/18/1990 to 4/20/21, 30 plus years. Where's Lee? He was here. Where's he? You can't do that. Lee. All right, we'll move over to Firefighter Ranowski. He's here, I know. Okay, dates of service 6/11/1978. I don't know if I was born then, Rick. 4/30/21, 42 years of service. Rick began on what was called fire and rescue, form of civil defense, in late 1978, and immediately took an interest in EMS. He was sworn into the department in 1982. Three-quarters of this group was not even here then. Rick aided in the establishment of the joint ALS paramedic program between LaGrange and LaGrange Park. The paramedic ambulance was housed and responded from the LaGrange Fire Department until year 2000. Rick was further involved when the responding EMT ambulance from LaGrange Park transitioned from the responsibility of the police to the fire department. Rick held various positions and ranks throughout his time on the fire department. For most of his tenure, Rick served as the EMS coordinator for the fire department He was responsible for administering the EMS program, holding together the contact paramedics and paid on-call EMTs. He also pushed for state-of-the-art EMS equipment and helped secure and purchase many of our ambulances. The LaGrange Park Fire Department and the Emergency Medical Services would not be what they are today without the dedication and leadership of Rick Ranowski. Rick raised his family in LaGrange Park and lives with his wife, Peggy, on Robin Hood. Rick, congratulations for all your years of service to our village. I've known you those whole 42 years, I think, and you've been remarkable. You've been a great asset to our community, and I want to thank you for all you've done for LaGrange Park. Yes. I think this is the third stop on this tour.
Yeah.
Okay, Lee. Peggy, I want to thank you for allowing us to have Rick for all those years. Okay, Firefighter Lee, where are you? There you are.
There he is.
Lee joined the fire department in October of 1990 and has held Helmet Shield 110 during his time on the fire department. Lee is known for his soft-spoken words of insight, advice, and problem solving. He was considered a mechanical jack of all trades and dedicated much of his time in the fire department to station maintenance and repairs while assigned to both stations throughout his tenure. Lee also volunteered to run the fire safety house and worked with kids at the annual fire department open houses, teaching them how to quickly escape a fire. Lee has lived on Homestead Road in LaGrange Park with his family for many years. Lee, I want to thank you on behalf of the board and the staff for your commitment to our community for 30-plus years. Thank you, Lee. You know, it's remarkable to have these two young men serve our village for so long, and when every day these firemen and policemen put their lives at stake for our welfare. So thank you, Rick and Lee. Okay, moving on, we have recognition of Melanie Dowd, the Grange Park Sustainability Commission Green Spotlight Household Award recipient. Is Dave Brozick? Dave, there you go. Dave, thank you.
Can I take these off? Take them. The Green Spotlight Award was created by the Grange Park Sustainability Commission. It was given to a village resident who's embraced a more sustainable lifestyle. The award is a certificate and a handsome sign, yard sign, thanks to Rick for getting a new one, that can be displayed in the front yard of the awardee to get neighbors talking about sustainability, and to help publicize the Sustainability Commission, bring more awareness to sustainability. This year we're recognizing Melanie Dawd, who has lived in LaGrange Park for 22 years. Melanie shows her commitment to sustainable living in a variety of ways. She reduces her waste intake, reuses what she has, and like many LaGrange Park residents, she recycles. Melanie's family goes to nearby farmers markets as much as they can. For the last 2 years, Melanie has subscribed to the Conservation Foundation's Green Earth Harvest in Naperville, which is a nonprofit that sustainably farms organic vegetables. Members own shares which entitle them to an allotment of vegetables throughout the harvest season. Sorry, this year's harvest is sold out. The organization does many things, such as hosting an annual native plant sale, of which Melanie has taken advantage. She also checks out native plant sales at our local forest preserve districts. Speaking of native plants, Melanie's been cultivating them for at least 10 years and expands the growing space in her yard each year. Coneflowers, goldenrod, milkweed, and other varieties of native flowers attract monarch butterflies and other pollinators. Native plants make a notable contribution to the web of life in our backyards. Melanie had recently built a larger garage further back from her house, and more concrete would be needed for the extended driveway, decreasing the absorption of rainwater in the backyard, which would necessitate the installation of a dry well to collect the water runoff. She realized that installing permeable pavers instead of concrete made more sense. Excess rainwater would easily make its way into the ground via the pavers. It was a more natural solution. She recently recounted to me, "You have to put the whole picture together." Melanie is admirably doing her part to live with a lighter carbon footprint in our village. She's an inspiration to the community, and we greatly appreciate it. It's my pleasure to give Melanie Daw our Green Spotlight Award for this spring, a season of rebirth that is even more meaningful as we emerge from this challenging pandemic.
I just want to get a quick photo, if I may. Thank you. Oh, you guys look good. Thank you very much.
Okay, I have, in my report at the end of the meeting, I have two proclamations. I'm going to move one of them up, though, because we have one of the individuals who is here to receive that proclamation with us tonight, so I'm not going to belabor and have you stay the whole meeting. If you'd like to, I can wait, but we're going to go ahead and do that one at this point. So we have with us tonight Ellen Kunkel, who's the Vice President of Grants and Government Relations for Pillars Community. We have a proclamation celebrating the 100th anniversary of Pillars Community Health. Whereas on January 24th, 1921, Marion Jean McLeod was hired as the first community nurse in LaGrange to conduct weekly well baby clinics with Dr. Gardner, a volunteer physician. And whereas local welfare associations joined forces on May 20th, 1928 to begin providing social services to Berwyn families. Whereas Pillars Community Health has demonstrated a tireless commitment to meet the changing needs of the most vulnerable residents of the western suburbs of Chicago, including piloting behavioral health programs in the 1950s, launching dental services in the 1960s, opening a domestic violence shelter in the 1970s, and sexual violence services in the 1980s, all at a reduced cost or at no cost at all. Whereas Pillars Community Health has long recognized the inseparability of health and the social determinants of health, and has helped lead the integration of physical, mental, and social services as far back as the Great Depression, and most recently in 2018, when they became one of the first organizations in Illinois to offer these integrated services under one banner. Whereas Pillars Community Health believes collaboration and outreach are necessary to achieve social and health equity, and has a history of working in partnership with dozens of various schools, hospitals, faith-based organizations, police departments, and nonprofits. Whereas Pillars Community Health relies on more than 200 volunteers to run their domestic and sexual violence hotlines and childhood bereavement programs, and employs more than 250 staff, including doctors, dentists, social workers, and mental health clinicians. Whereas Pillars Community Health's mission is to improve the health of our communities and empower individuals through compassionate, whole-person care. And their vision is one of communities in which all people have access to the care that they need and when they need it. Now therefore be it proclaimed, the Village of LaGrange Park commends Pillars Community Health on their 100th anniversary and offer our gratitude for the positive contributions they have made to our community. Thank you, Ellen, for your organization and all that you do for the communities that you serve.
I'll just do a quick one. Thank you so much. On behalf of Pillars Community Health, I am honored to accept this proclamation. Well said, President DeCipio. Thank you to President DeCipio, to the trustees, really to all the people in this exceptional community. LaGrange Park is one of the shining examples of the area that we serve, and we are so proud to be part of this community, and we feel blessed and honored that you entrust us with the physical and mental health of so many individuals and families that we serve from this area. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ellen. Okay, next.
know.
Okay, next on our agenda is public participation. Would anyone care to address the board? Okay. Moving on, consent agenda. Megan?
Thank you, Mr. President. The items on this evening's consent agenda are as follows. A, approval of minutes. 1, Village Board meeting, April 27th, 2021. 2, Village Board executive session, April 27th, 2021. 3, Village Board work session meeting, May 11th, 2021. B, action, motion to authorize the president and chairperson of the Finance Committee to sign the register for bills and authorize the treasurer and village clerk to sign checks in payment of operating bills and salaries as itemized in the check registers. And C, action, motion to authorize the village treasurer and village clerk to sign checks in the payment of payroll and other bills that become due between this date and the next village board meeting, with subsequent approval of the payroll register and voucher register by the Board of Trustees at its next meeting.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Second.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes?
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Trustee Seidel? Yes. Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Stewart?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President. Yep.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I have just a couple of quick updates to provide you this evening. There you go. The first is to recognize and give special thanks to a group of individuals that participated in the Community Volunteering Weekend, this most recent weekend. Altogether, we had 35 volunteers that helped and donated their time to help work on some projects throughout the community and really help with some household chores, or maybe just to make some public spaces look a lot brighter and prettier. So I wanted, as part of the 35 volunteers, I wanted to give a special shout out to some village employees. We had with us on that day, we had Police Chief Tim Contois and his wife Amy. So we appreciate their work on the Meadow Crest gateway signs. They helped pretty those up with some new plantings. Also, I'd like to thank our Public Works Director, Rick Ratty, and his wife Kelly for the work that they did at one of the homes in the community and help with various chores at their home. And they had a couple of teams helping them out as well, so that was great. Also, we had some neighborhood kids helping with the plantings over at Fire Station 1. And you may have seen the flowers there today. All together, and then coordinating all of that was our assistant village manager, Maggie Jar, who did just a fantastic job getting everybody in shape and preparing for all of that work and making sure that everybody had enough to drink and eat throughout the day and that the work got done. Altogether, there were 4 homes, 3 public spaces, the Edgewood Triangle, Meadowcrest Gateway signs, the fire department, and it really looks great. So thanks, everybody, for all the work that you did, dedicating your hours and your weekend for that. The second item that I wanted to briefly report on, Mr. President, and I'm sure we're going to hear more about this later, is just a very quick update that I received from the Public Works Director regarding the progress on our butterfly gardens. As you all may recall, we received a grant this year for the development of butterfly gardens in our community, and 4 of them are underway in some form or fashion. We have our first butterfly garden that has a water feature, and that is at Edgewood and Oak. That is quite beautiful. And the Sustainability Commission helped with those plantings just today at 4 o'clock. Okay, So we really appreciate the work from the Sustainability Commission and helping to beautify that triangle. We have a second butterfly garden developing at Beach and Oak in the Boulevard. And that is that the Girl Scouts will be working on that? Okay, on Saturday. Okay, so that's fantastic. Another group helping us out. We have a third butterfly garden developing at Meadow Crest and Woodside at the Triangle, and that will include a water feature as well. And then the fourth, do we have a group that's signed up for that yet? Not yet, so stay tuned. And then the fourth butterfly garden will be developing at the Public Works facility. So these are really quite beautiful projects to provide some native plantings to Illinois to improve the birds and the butterflies in the area and really help bolster up both the creativity and the beauty of the village. So thank you very much for all that work in getting the grant and developing those spaces thus far. Thank you very much. And with that, that concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Julia. Okay, moving on to Administration Committee, Trustee Council.
Thank you, Mr. President. On my report, I'm going to report on the Capitol bill funding that is being provided through the Illinois Senate Majority Leader Kimberly Lightford's office. They recently contacted the village regarding the $185,000 in funding that was submitted on the village's behalf for inclusion in the state capital bill. Leader Lightford's office is working to get this funding released and requested preliminary information on the village's plan for expending these funds. The village provided information on two projects. One, repaving the parking lot at the Public Works building, and two, a new roof for Fire Station number 2. More information will be shared as soon as it becomes possible. Item 2, airplanes and noise. Last week, the village received a number of resident concerns regarding low-flying airplanes and associated noise. According to the Chicago Department of Aviation, shifts in wind patterns require the use of different runway configurations at Midway Airport, which place aircraft over LaGrange Park. These alternate flight paths are a function of weather and are typically triggered in the spring. Staff created a new page on the village's website under the Residents tab to share more information from the Chicago Department of Aviation and the Federal Aviation Administration, and to provide resources for understanding flight activity in our area and submitting complaints. The third item, Community Volunteer Day. The village's annual Community Volunteer Day took place on Saturday, May 22nd. The volunteers provided assistance to older adults in the community with gardening and other outdoor spring cleaning. Volunteers also worked on beautifying a number of public spaces in residential neighborhoods, including the future site of a grant-funded butterfly sanctuary at Edgewood and Oak Avenue. And the fourth item, the village offices will be closed on Monday, May 31st in observance of Memorial Day. Regular office hours will resume on Tuesday, June 1st at 9 a.m. Thank you, Mr. President, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Council. Moving on to Building and Zoning Committee, Trustee Zora.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to report the building department activities for April 2021. 136 building permits were issued in April compared to 70 last April. There have been 306 permits issued this year compared to 176 last year. Estimated construction costs for the month were just over $2 million, over double compared to last April. Permit fees collected for the month were $35,593.96, about 12% more than last April. 190 inspections were conducted in April compared to 73 last April. 7 were not approved. Staff conducted 484 inspections compared to 312 last year. There were 44 code enforcement property maintenance matters addressed in April. Plans for Murphy's transmission were approved and the issuance of permit is awaiting final documentation of contractors. The applicant is also working through an issue where he will need to register and remove abandoned underground storage tanks found on the property. Patrick completed several training sessions on resident solar permitting improvements. This is related to the Sustainability Commission working on obtaining the Soul Smart accreditation for the village. Exterior storage cleanup work was completed at the 7-Eleven, which was related to an occupancy inspection that was conducted for a new franchise. Court appearance citations were issued on a property in the 600 block of Ashland for ongoing property maintenance violations. And I have one item that is up for discussion and action. For a special use permit request for 23 East 31st Street. The subject property is located at 23 East 31st Street. The applicant, Bev Masters LLC, is requesting approval of a special use permit for outdoor dining in accordance with section 153.131 and section 153.177 of the zoning code. The Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing regarding the application on April 20th, 2021. The applicant, along with members of the public, attended the hearing and provided testimony. The minutes from the meeting, court reporter transcript, and approved findings of fact were attached to our memorandum. Upon conclusion of the public hearing, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the special use permit for outdoor dining, voted by a unanimous vote of 6-0. Staff concurs with the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission. I'd like to make a motion to approve an ordinance granting a special use permit for the outdoor dining for 23 East 31st Street, Bev Masters LLC, case number 21-0003.
I have a
Second.
motion and a second. Discussion?
Thank you.
Trustee Zora?
Thanks. I attended the public hearing, just because I wanted to know what the public's reaction was to this. And everyone was very positive about it. The only concern was noise, and these business owners are actually residents, and they assured everyone that was listening that they care about the community and that if there's any noise concerns, they will address them, but they don't anticipate that. Their hours of business end at 10 p.m. on Friday and Saturday nights, and otherwise they are earlier than that. They have families, so they don't want to be working late hours in the morning. I think that giving them outdoor dining is going to add to the success of their business. I mean, it's a great location, and I want to do what we can to help our businesses and help the community. So I'm in favor of this. I think it'll be a great addition to our community, and everyone loves outdoor dining, especially when the weather changes.
Thank you, Trustee Zora. Trustee Lautner?
Thank you, Mr. President. The only concern I did have was the hours and the noise level, and reading the information that was provided in our document did sound very convincing that they're very focused on that, to be sensitive to it, and you know, as such, I think it's great to have this enter our village, and looking forward to the availability of this in our community. So I would support it.
Thank you, Trustee Lautner. Trustee Stewart?
Yeah, given the year and a half we've all had, I think it's a really good opportunity for outdoor dining, and people want to be out, so I approve.
Thank you, Trustee Stewart. Trustee Sheehan?
Thank you, Mr. President. I too attended the public hearing. The concerns were the noise and with parking. And it's starting to see, as things are starting to open up, parking over there on Woodside and Meadowcrest has started to increase. While I do appreciate the petitioner toning down his request as far as how many seats, I'm going to hold police department and the fire department, public safety, to make sure that we keep an eye on parking, that doesn't become a hassle. Any thoughts on that, Chief Contoy?
We'll address any issues as they are presented to us, and we'll probably most likely have a good relationship with the business owner. So I don't anticipate any problems at this time, but if there are in the future, they will be addressed.
Chief Magus, I think if I remember correctly, he had toned down the request by about 15 or 20%, which was good. Do you foresee any problems?
No.
Has anything changed as far as an agreement with the parking with the two businesses on the Grange Road? I know one of them was set. How about the second one?
As far as the parking goes with the business on LaGrange Road, I don't believe that there was any issue or anything else has been handled with that. I'm not aware. I know it was.
They did have an agreement with the one as far as if things get out of hand, that they're thinking to relocate cars and possibly have a valet. And the petitioner also did mention a second business. Has anything come about that second business, or it's too far?
I'll let Maggie address that question. I will say, just to be clear, that the applicant, insofar as the standards for parking for this type of use, are being met, in accordance with the zoning code. So I'll start off with that they are meeting all of the requirements of the zoning code with this special use application. With that, I'll turn it over to Maggie.
Sure. There is one agreement with a business along Grange Road. I'm not sure of the status of a second agreement, but I'm sure we can find out more details from the applicant.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. President, that's, living a block away, that's my major concern as far as keeping an eye on the parking for the residents that do live in close proximity. Always pro-business and would support that. I want to make them see good, but I also want to be good stewards of the neighborhood, sir.
Thank you, Trustee Sheehan. Trustee Seidel?
Thank you, Mr. President. I am in full support of this. Anything we can do to help our current and new businesses, I am in favor of.
Thank you, Trustee Seidel. Trustee Council?
I'm in support of this, Mr. President. I really don't think that the hours of operation are going to be prohibitive, and I don't see a real concern for noise pollution. And if the owners are willing to work with the parking situation as it needs to be addressed, I have full faith in our police department to aid that along. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Council. Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Trustee Seidel?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Stewart?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Trustee Zora.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, we have engineering capital projects. Trustee Stewart?
Thank you, Mr. President. Engineering and capital projects report. Sorry. Design work was started for the 2021 permeable pavement intersection project. The project involves creating a permeable pavement at the intersections of Monroe Avenue with Community Drive, Robin Hood Lane, and Sherwood Road. The existing pavement will be excavated to about 3.5 feet in depth and replaced with crushed stone, which will allow the water to seep into it, like Melanie, like we were talking about earlier. The surface of the street will then be set with decorative brick pavers. The village will receive up to $271,000 from the MWRD to help fund the project, which will help reduce surface runoff and the impact of flooding. Design is continuing for the 2020 CDBG grant paving program. This project involves spot curb replacement, pavement patching, and street resurfacing on Meadowcrest Road between 29th Street and 31st Street, and the Woodside Road between 29th Street and Meadowcrest Road. The village is receiving a $200,000 grant from the county to be applied towards construction costs, with supplemental construction and engineering costs provided with MFT funds. The project is scheduled for summer construction. The work was completed by Suburban General Construction for the 2021 sewer repair program. The project involved point repairs on sewers located throughout the village that were identified by recent televising and cleaning projects. This is a yearly program to replace isolated segments of sewers that need replacement. Thank you, Mr. President. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Stewart. Public Safety Committee, Trustee Seidel?
Thank you, Mr. President. I will begin with the Police Department's summary of activities for April 2021. The total number of crimes this year are higher than last year at this time, with 186 reported this year compared to 91 last year. Again, a substantial increase to identify theft reports have occurred related to Illinois Department of Employment Security claims and scams. Traffic enforcement is at 1140 total tickets issued through April of 2021. Overall, police activity is slightly higher than last year, with 2901 total incidents reported through April of 2021 compared to 2518 total incidents through April of 2020. The police department hired Christopher Cooper and Robert Weber to fill vacancies within the department. Both individuals have already started the Cook County Sheriff's Police Academy and are slated for graduation in August. Welcome, Chris and Robert. Congratulations to OSP David Escamilla 2020 LaGrange Park Police Officer of the Year. PD staff, in conjunction with the DEA, participated in the annual Drug Take-Back Day on April 24th. We collected over 100 pounds of expired or unused pharmaceutical drugs. Thanks to everyone who dropped off items for proper disposal. As a reminder, the police department has a drop box in the lobby available for residents during normal business hours. PD staff assisted with the second dose vaccination event held in Western Springs on April 3rd. On April 3rd, Officer Chris Dempsey and staff began the next session of the Citizens Police Academy. Please follow us on social media accounts as we frequently use these platforms to update the community on events and activities throughout town, Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. A friendly reminder about securing one's personal property at all times. Please watch your vehicles and residents, especially during overnight hours. If you're going on vacation, please utilize the new online vacation watch portal, frontlinepss.com/LaGrange Park, or log on to the village website and access the portal under the police department page. If you do not have internet access, please feel free to fill out a vacation watch card at the PD between 9 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. And that concludes the police department report. Next is fire department activities for April 2021. EMS incidents this month, 129. There's been a 530 year-to-date compared to 499 year-to-date in 2020. Fire rescue incidents this month are 32. There's been 141 year-to-date compared to 125 total year-to-date in 2020. Both Division Chief Rick Ranowski and Firefighter Lee Kudia retired from the department during this month. Rick had over 42 years of service and Lee had over 30 years of service. We greatly appreciate their many years of dedication to the fire department and the village. Throughout the month, staff continued with EMS staffing at Nazareth football games. Many fire department personnel assisted with the second dose COVID vaccination clinic held on April 3rd. A safety shutdown was implemented during the month, putting a brief moratorium on driver training. It was needed to address safety considerations and some mishaps that have occurred. Hazardous materials technicians from our department participated in monthly training held at the Hinsdale Pool, which involved attempting to stop several leaks from piping. Personnel participated in the memorial service for Jim Swift. A space has been created for a temporary fire department history museum at Village Hall. A board fire insurance board meeting was held with 2 new personnel elected to the board. The fire chief completed his term as chair of the LTAC operations board. He also attended various portions of the National Fire and Emergency Services virtual symposium, which is presented by the Congressional Fire Services Institute. He also attended the webinar, Fire Service Consideration with Lithium-Ion Battery Energy Storage Systems. On a small scale, these battery storage systems are beginning to be installed in some homes as part of the photovoltaic system. And that concludes the fire department activities for the month.
Thank you, Trustee Seidel. Public Works Committee, Trustee Sheehan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public Works installed 3 new service lines with new copper pipe, replacing lead lines that were found to be leaking this month. Tree planting occurred at the end of April with the installation of 36 new trees in village parkways. Sidewalks on 31st Street and Grange Road were cleaned off from winter debris. Planting areas were also weeded and mulched and will have continuing maintenance throughout the year. Public Works has been utilizing GIS by collecting utilities and infrastructure to update the system. Snow equipment finally has been removed from our fleet, and the final salt deliveries have been accepted and stored away. Crews were out filling potholes throughout town as weather allowed and time to do so. Pothole repair will continue indefinitely. Water meters were read in Section 1. 15 monthly bacterial samples were taken along with Stage 2 samples. Various water and sewer work orders were completed along with resident tree concerns and general construction inquiries. Many water and sewer service calls were completed along with meter appointments, inspections, and Julie locations. Routine maintenance of the department fleet and equipment was performed as well as police and fire vehicles. Next, Mr. President, the 2021 sewer repair program additional expense authorization The purpose of this agenda item is to authorize payment for the additional expenses for sewer point repair work that was discovered in the course of making repairs during the 2021 sewer repair program. Hancock Engineering prepared bid specifications and a contract was awarded to Suburban General for $105,383 at the March 23rd, 2021 board meeting. In doing the repairs, additional repairs were required, bringing the total project cost to $109,670.10. These repairs were deemed necessary and notice to proceed was given. Approval of the additional expenses is needed as the final expenses exceeded the original award amount. In fiscal year 2020-2021, the village budgeted in the sewer fund capital outlay $544,420, $100,000 for point repairs and restoration. This line item will be over by approximately $2,200. The entire sewer O&M fund for the fiscal year will be under budget. This work was completed before the end of the last fiscal year. Staff is requesting that the board authorize total payment to Suburban General in the amount of $109,670.10 at tonight's meeting. This motion would supersede the previous motion approved by the village board in March. Therefore, Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the final payment to Suburban General in the amount of $109,670.10 for the 2021 sewer repair program.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion, trustee Sheehan?
Thank you, Mr. President. While each year before we do these projects, contractor runs a camera through the mains that are going to be looked at under the street that's going to be repaved. You never really know what you're going to get until the excavation's uncovered. This is just the cost of doing business, and once the site was excavated, so I would support it.
Thank you, trustee Sheehan. Trustee Council?
I would support it as well, Mr. President.
Thank you, trustee Council. Trustee Lautner?
I'll support it.
Thank you, trustee Lautner. Trustee Zora?
I also support it.
Trustee Zora, trustee Stewart?
I support it as well.
Trustee Seidel?
I'm in support as well. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, trustee Seidel. Would you call the roll, please?
Trustee Lautner,
Yes.
trustee Zora,
Yes.
trustee Seidel,
Yes.
trustee Council,
Yes.
trustee Sheehan,
Yes.
trustee Stewart.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Next, we have the 2020-2021 salt purchase contract revised open purchase order. The Public Works Department is seeking approval for the purpose of bulk purchase of bulk road salt in an amount not to exceed $38,000. In February of 2021, the village board approved an open purchase not to exceed $33,000. At that time, staff outlined the option for purchasing salt at the contract price of $52.32 per ton. In the original memo, the total cost to purchase a maximum of 720 tons was initially stated as $32,670, which should have read $37,670.40. The number oversight requires the board to approve a new not to exceed amount of $38,000. In fiscal year 2020-2021, the village budgeted in the motor fuel tax fund services for $45,532, $75,000 for salt. Staff recommends the board approve an open purchase order not to exceed $38,000 with Cargill Incorporated Salt Division for the purchase of salt at tonight's meeting. This motion would supersede the previous motion approved by the village board in February. Make a motion at this time to approve a revision to the not to exceed amount for the existing open purchase order with Cargill Incorporated Salt Division from $33,000 to $38,000.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second, discussion, trustee Sheehan?
Thank you, Mr. President. Obviously, it was an accounting oversight. These things happen. The salt's been purchased. I support this.
Thank you, trustee Sheehan. Trustee Council?
I support this.
Thank you, trustee Council. Trustee Lautner?
I'll support this, and I will add that this rarely happens.
Thank you, trustee Lautner.
Absolutely, but yes, I'll support it.
Trustee Zora?
I support this.
Thank you, trustee Zora. Trustee Stewart?
I approve this as well.
Thank you, trustee Stewart. And trustee Seidel?
I support this as well.
Thank you, Megan. Call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Trustee Seidel?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Stewart?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
On to finance. Trustee Lautner?
Thank you, Mr. President. This evening, I have the financial update as of the end of April 30th, 2021. General fund financial performance through that date, we have now completed fiscal year 2021, which began May 1st, 2020. The detailed revenue and expenditure report and the monthly cash and investment dashboard are also attached for our review in the packet. While the fiscal year ended April 30th, this is not the final report for fiscal year 2021. For the next couple months, next 2 months, we will continue to process any outstanding payables and receivables which apply to the prior fiscal year. These items will be reflected in the village's annual audit report, which will be issued later this year. Some of the highlights: fiscal year to date, general fund revenue is at 109.2% of the annual budget and is about $354,000 or 3.8% greater than the prior year. Property tax receipts are down about $76,000 or 2.1% compared to the prior year. This is basically a timing variance, as the first installment of the 2020 tax bills were due in March, but late fees were postponed, you may recall, until May due to the pandemic. Other local taxes are higher by about $84,000 or 5.6% due primarily to sales tax, which is up 20.7% compared to the prior year. And trending down has been the telecommunications tax, which is down 23.8%. License revenue is down about $15,500 or 5% from the prior year, primarily due to lower vehicle and dog license sales. And you may also recall that collectively the board and staff recommendation that we collectively decided to delay for the residents the timing for the auto licenses and dog license and various other impact from the pandemic. So that's why that is down. Intergovernment receipts are higher by about $521,000 or 25.5% compared to last year, primarily due to CARES Act funding received through Cook County. Income tax is at 5.8% higher than last year, while use tax is up about 25%. Our permit receipts are up about 29% or about $72,000 compared to the prior year. Charges for services are down about $34,000 or 7.2% due primarily to lower ambulance fee collections compared to last year. Fine revenue is about $2,300 or 1.4% lower than the prior year. And miscellaneous revenue is about $194,500 lower than last year due to the steep drop in interest and the end of the NetWest reimbursement. And total general fund expenditures, excluding the transfer to the capital projects fund, are at 95.2% of the annual budget and about $216,000 or 2.5% lower than last year. And all departments are within budget expectations. And I believe that concludes, with the exception of the graphs that were provided in our packet. I think that concludes the report from the finance area this evening, Mr. President.
Thank you, trustee Lautner. Okay, moving on to other reports. Our village clerk, Megan.
I have no report this evening, Mr. President.
Our village treasurer, Larry.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to point out that there's a report included in the packet tonight. It's a statutorily required report from the treasurer concerning the police pension fund's end of the fiscal year. And I'm pleased to report that the pension fund had a good year. They ended the year just over $19 million after starting the year just around 14.7. So that's about a 30% increase over the year, so that's very good news. We will be talking a little more about the pension fund later this summer after our actuary performs his calculations and helps us determine what the village board's recommended contribution is for the next year. That should occur late summer. And that concludes my report tonight.
Thank you, Larry. Village engineer, Mark? where you
No
at?
report tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mark. Our village attorney, Kathy?
No report tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you, Kathy. And our commercial revitalization committee, trustee Stewart?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 5 different locations on the report. The first one being Murphy's Transmission and Complete Auto Repair on 1117 East 31st Street. The contractor has been selected for the expansion project and is in the process of registering with the village. A building permit will be issued once contractor registration is approved. The second location is Hop District Community Brewers on 23 East 31st Street. The owner submitted a building permit application, which is currently under review by staff. Staff also met with the owner to identify the best location for his business to tap into new 31st Street water main. The third business is Plaza 31, units 702 to 722 East 31st Street. The owner of Plaza 31 is working on a design for a new monument sign and plans to submit applications for sign variance and special use permit for outdoor dining this summer. The landscape islands in the shopping center will be mulched while the owner seeks these approvals. The fourth location is 1201 Barnesdale. The village approves the work with the owners regarding their future plans for the property. Staff has provided feedback on a preliminary project's approach from a potential new buyer and shared new information on the village's economic incentives. And the fifth and last item, village market code enforcement. The deadline for bringing the property into compliance was May 21st. Staff is scheduling a meeting with the property management company and will perform a follow-up inspection to ensure that all violations have been corrected and are in the process of being addressed. This concludes the CRC report. Thank you, Mr. President. I also have one item up for discussion, which is the 2021 pilot banner program. The staff is really excited to propose the launch of the pilot banner program, which will install new banners on the light poles along portions of LaGrange Road and 31st Street. This program aims to increase the visibility of local businesses, encourage investment in the community, and implement the village's commercial revitalization plan. The design and location, staff began working on the banner bill last month to develop unique village-branded banners with eye-catching colors and designs that highlight the LaGrange Park logo. Double banners were designed for segments of LaGrange Road near the Village Market and 31st Street. Single banners were designed for the more decorative light poles along 31st Street between LaGrange Road and Kemen Avenue. The banners along 31st Street feature 4 alternating designs, including a patriotic banner that displays the American flag. The total cost for this pilot, which includes the banners, hardware, installation on 71 light poles, is approximately $16,000. The majority of banners are located within 3 business districts, and the cost would be covered using business district funds, approximately 10 grand. Some banners are located along a residential stretch of 31st Street between business districts, and the cost would be applied to the general fund, which is approximately 5 grand. The banners outside of the business districts, while not currently budgeted, will provide continuity and consistent branding along 31st Street, connected to business areas located near LaGrange Road and Kemen Avenue, and amplify the vibrancy of the corridor overall. They would also replace the American flags that are typically purchased and installed by the village. By initiating this pilot program and utilizing the services of Bannerville, the village will no longer need to repurchase flags and rent a bucket truck to put up and take down the flags along 31st Street, which costs approximately $3,400 annually. If the village does not pursue the installation of the banners on light poles outside of the business districts, the village will still need to remove the existing banner arms from the decorative light poles. The banner arms are in poor condition, many are missing, and therefore should be removed. Bannerville assumes the risk in the event that any banner systems fail. The banners have a 1-year warranty and will be replaced free of charge if damaged under normal weather conditions. The bracket hardware has a lifetime warranty. For now, the winter option, staff envisions using a 3-season approach with the new banners displayed during summer, spring, spring, summer, and fall. Winter-themed banners should be designed and installed in the business districts for only an additional cost of approximately $5,860 to be covered by business district funds. Evaluation staff intends for the CRC to evaluate the pilot program and develop a recommendation for a permanent banner program moving forward. Staff recommends approval of the motion. Motion to approve the 2021 pilot banner program.
So
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Trustee Stewart?
Yes, I believe the banner program is a great opportunity to generate visibility to our local businesses, and is also aesthetically pleasing to drivers. I approve this program.
Thank you, Trustee Stewart. Trustee Council?
I think it'll be a nice addition to the business corridors, and also, I agree with Trustee Stewart. Thank you.
Trustee Sheehan?
Thank you. I support this as well. I guess, in remembering, looking at what was sent out previously, I would like to suggest, if possible, that we could use one of the American flag designs on the Grange Road and not just save it for 31st Street. I'd like to see that incorporated somewhere on the Grange Road if possible. I think it'd be a good idea. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Trustee Sheehan. Trustee Seidel?
Thank you, Mr. President. I support this as well. I think it's great visibility for our businesses.
Thank you, Trustee Seidel. Trustee Zora?
I also support this. I think it's really great to see improvements in our business districts, because we talked about this years ago when we walked these spaces about getting rid of those broken banner arms and replacing them with these. I like the images too that were submitted. I'm excited. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Zora. Trustee Lautner?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, I think it's going to provide a fresh look to the village and provide some excitement. I know there's a little bit of a question about the area that's in the non-business development area going into the general fund unbudgeted, but I think basically it's a wash. And tying the village together, I think, supersedes that concern and that amount. So I fully support this. I think it's an exciting program.
Thank you, Trustee Lautner. Yes, I think it's about time we're a village that certainly deserves that. We've done great things with our business districts, so let's get out there and promote them. We have a motion and a second. Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Trustee Seidel?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Stewart?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan. And thank you, Trustee Stewart. Okay, motion to approve committee collectors' reports as presented.
So.
Second.
Motion is second. Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Trustee Seidel?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Stewart?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan. Okay, moving on, we have, I have a couple items. First, I have two proclamations that I'd like to read. First one is, this is EMS, caring for our communities. National Emergency Medical Services Week, May 16th to the 22nd, 2021. Whereas emergency medical services, EMS, is a vital public service. Whereas the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. Whereas the Village of LaGrange Park provides a community-based EMS system comprised of well-equipped, well-prepared, and dedicated paramedics, emergency medical technicians, firefighters, and police officers. Whereas those providing EMS within our village over the past year faced the additional challenges of providing care during the COVID-19 worldwide pandemic. And therefore be it proclaimed May 16th to the 22nd, 2021 be recognized as National EMS Week. Be it further resolved that the Village of LaGrange Park Board honors our frontline heroes dedicated to providing emergency medicine, and the 2021 EMS Week theme, This is EMS, Caring for Our Communities, reminds all that every day our EMS personnel are still there to respond, support, and care for the needs of our village. And I think we all realize how important our EMS system is to all of us here in the community, and what a great EMS service we have provided by all of our public safety services, our police, fire, EMS, and ambulance services. So thank you all for all that you do and for being there when we need you. Moving on to the next one, National Public Works Week. Boy, we have a public works department, huh? Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the village of LaGrange Park. Whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. Whereas it is in public interest that the citizens, civic leaders, and children in the village of LaGrange Park to gain knowledge of and maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. Whereas the year 2021 marks the 61st Annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association, Canadian Public Works Association. Therefore, be it proclaimed, the Village of LaGrange Park designate the week May 16th to the 23rd, 2021 as National Public Works Week. I encourage all citizens to join in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protect our national health, safety, and quality of life. I don't know if anybody's been watching the news lately, but there's a community, I think in the southwest suburbs or south suburbs, that has an issue with their water quality and the quality of their drinking water. We don't have that here in LaGrange Park. We have a great public works and water department. And Rick, on behalf of the village board and staff, please take back to your staff the gratitude that we have for all that you do for our village throughout the year, every day of the year. Thank you. Okay, as Julie had mentioned, I'd like to thank all the staff who participated over the weekend in the community event. Julia and her husband Lalo, Chief and his wife Amy, Maggie, thank you, Rick and his wife Kelly, and then youth commissioners and many more. It was a great event, and thank you, Julia and Maggie, all of you, for getting the staff together and doing that. Maggie, thank you. This weekend is the Memorial Day celebration that the Park District is holding. It's 11 o'clock on Saturday. We'll be recognizing two of our residents that have passed on that have contributed greatly to our memorial wall, and that's Jim Zwitt and Jack Ryder. So if you're available, please come at 11 o'clock on Saturday to join in on the celebration and dedication. I think we'll be dedicating 17 or 19 bricks to servicemen that have been recognized by Trustee Jack Ryder over the years that were killed in action that are residents of LaGrange Park. Phenomenal. So, and Jim Zwitt, who was the original organizer of the memorial wall. So, a sad event, but we'll be very pleased and grateful for all the veterans and people that have sacrificed their lives for our freedom. Time of year, they're down in session in Springfield, and again, one of the topics for budget review is the LGDF. Julie and I got contacted. I'm in the process of contacting our legislators. They're looking at cutting again our LGDF. This is an amount that the village receives. It's a proportion of the income tax that's collected by the state. 10% is distributed to local communities. The state, in their infinite wisdom, because of their situation with their budget, has made the great decision to cut into it and deprive all communities of that money. For our village, I think we're looking at 130,000, Julia, somewhere around there.
The last time that I checked.
Yeah, so it's a significant amount for a village of our size and for our budget. So if anyone ever gets a chance to call down there or call your legislators, Representative Welch will not represent Speaker Welch now. I hope he'll still take our phone calls, we'll see. But that's an important issue, so everybody please be cognizant that it's on the docket and they're looking at cutting it again. One last thing, I hope everyone has a happy, safe Memorial weekend. It'll be the first time, I think, in a long time, in a year, that everybody will be able to get out and celebrate with their family and friends. Please be safe and have a great holiday weekend. Next, I have public participation of non-agenda related items. Would anyone care to address the board? Any new business? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A motion and a second. Maggie, call the roll.
Trustee Lauder?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Trustee Seidel?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Stewart?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan. You and Maggie, you gotta change seats. One's gotta go over here. So I don't have Maggie and Megan right together. Yes. Okay, meeting adjourned. Everyone have a great holiday weekend.